Here in a city where winter arrives early and stays late, the spiritual landscape is defined not by snow, but by churches, and mostly Roman Catholic churches. 2 out of every 3 people in upstate New York identify as Catholic, and it is here in Syracuse where some of these centuries-old church attitudes and beliefs about priests are quietly undergoing challenge and change.
Do you think openly gay priests should be able to serve in the Syracuse diocese?
Woo! That's a tough question.
Yes.
No.
Yes, because they need more priests.
I would not like to answer that. Thank you.
Okay.
Having openly gay priests is debatable among Catholics, but it's already a reality. Sources say only 5 openly gay priests nationwide worship at the altar, and what some Catholics might not know is that one of them serves here in Syracuse at All Saints Parish off Lancaster Avenue.
Father Fred Daley was born and raised in Syracuse. He says he got the call when a nun pegged him as a potential priest.
That was sort of like the spark, because I thought, wow, if Sister thinks maybe I could be a priest, maybe I could. And then I ran home and told my twin brother, and he laughed and said, get that crazy idea out of your mind. So,
well, that crazy idea carried Father Fred to the seminary, where he learned the ropes of the religious life.
the 8 years in the seminary were really a time of discernment and, just listening to the Spirit. But I must say,
he lived with the secret for 30 years, coming out just a decade ago. And that painful process of self-acceptance was alleviated a little last summer by words that riveted church pews around the world. Who am I to judge? The Pope's message to gay Catholics and priests like Father Fred.
Just in a simple phrase, sort of lit up what the church should be about, and sort of was, I think, a source of healing for many, many people in the church who feel unwelcomed and not accepted. So
that's why Father Fred feels called to serve people on the margins, he says, like the handicapped, the poor, refugees, including a group he knows pretty well.
L, G, and B all refer to sexual orientation, which has to do with who you're attracted to, whereas the T is...
For transgendered, the topic of a recent parish panel held, yes, on the same altar where Father Fred breaks bread every Sunday. And tending to the margins has others in the flock standing behind Father Fred. Take Alex Riedinger, who moved to town last year from Louisville. He was worried he wouldn't find another Catholic church welcoming bisexuals like him.
I remember the first time just walking through the doors feeling so incredibly welcome, seeing the joy of people during the Mass and worshiping and celebrating. And I said, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be, and I've never looked back.
And neither has Father Fred since he came out, nor has he felt the need to take a break from the priesthood, unlike Father Gary Meyer of St. Louis, another openly gay priest who says he can no longer support the church's stance on homosexuality. So I asked Father Fred,
Well, why are you still sticking with the church? I'm sure that's a question on a lot of viewers' minds. Why are you still Catholic?
the positives outweigh the negatives, and that one of my callings is to try to work to bring about change and accompanying others who are agents of change in the church. So, yeah, I think it's my home.
I'm happy to hear it's home because he's home for us. And, I guess my only hope, and this is Danielle Cummings now speaking and not as the diocese, is that we honor each other as children of God. And that's who we are. If you ask me, who am I? I'm a child of God. And that's who Father Fred is.
A man who says he's just a guy doing the Lord's will, inching closer to the margins, one soul at a time. In Syracuse, Maria Catanzarite, NCC News.